Welcome to Real Estate Webcast on Unconditional. Each week we put together a program which provides insight and understanding of what's going on in the market here in New Zealand. And this week we're joined by a guest appearance. We have an individual from Australia joining us. So I'd like to introduce and welcome Simon Baker. Simon, welcome.
Thank you, Alison.
You've previously been Chief Executive of Realestate.com.au in Australia, come over to New Zealand to join us for this conference. I thought this would be a good opportunity to pick your brains. We've got a good audience on the blog of people looking to better understand the property market, and particularly we're into spring now. Simple question, but always a long answer to these questions. From your experience looking at online, what would you say is the best way to get your property to be seen, to be found, and to also to evaluate a good agent to help you?
Well, it's actually a really good question. I think there are 5 things that if I was a consumer looking to sell property in New Zealand, I'd be doing. First of all, I'd be checking out my agent online. I mean, it's one of those things, selecting an agent to represent your property to the market is quite a critical choice. Selecting a poor agent, you may not maximise the price, so getting a good agent is important. Given online marketing is so critical nowadays to advertising property, that you want an agent who actually gets it.
Yep.
So the first tip I would give to anyone out there looking to sell a house is go check your agent out online, and I'd do it 2 ways. The first is I would go to their website and just check out how good that website is. Are they presenting both themselves and their listings in a professional, high quality way? The second is I would test out their response to online marketing. By that I mean I would look at some of their listings online, go to realestate.co.nz. I would then ask some questions anonymously of the agent online and see if they respond, they get back to you. Now, good agents should be getting back to you within a couple of hours, max.
True.
And if they're not, if they don't get back to you at all, how would they then be handling requests of your listings? So that'll be the first thing that I did.
Certainly fits in. I mean, interesting, that aspect of how much people use the web these days. We interestingly had some research recently that shows nearly 80% of people are turning to the web first. So undoubtedly, that's got to be where people look first, and to evaluate an agent, absolutely smart idea.
Absolutely. If you don't do that, then
you don't
they say the fool and their money are soon parted.
Unfortunately.
Now, the second thing I would do if I was a consumer looking to advertise my properties, online especially, is I'd make sure that the agent I used advertised on all sites.
Right.
The reason being is that while realestate.co.nz has fantastic traffic, it doesn't have every eyeball looking online. So it's important that your agent understands online marketing, and it's about breadth of getting the message out there.
Get that reach, get that ultimate audience. You don't want to miss anyone, absolutely.
Now, the third tip is quite an important one, is once you've put your advertisement up there, you actually make sure it's a quality advertisement. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but when you go on, you see some have no photos, poor photos, no description, no price, no address.
I couldn't agree more. It's surprising that we've gone through this period where the web has been adopted to such an extent, and we're still finding listings come to us with, as you say, none of those criteria. But yet, on the other hand, we have superbly presented properties with 20, 40, even 60 photos. And that's got to be a more compelling proposition for somebody who's interested in the property, spend a bit of time, get to know it. So from a seller's point of view, why wouldn't you want 20 plus photographs?
Absolutely. So make sure you've got lots of photos, and make sure the very first photo the agent loads is the hero shot. The one that best represents the property, because when someone searches, as your audience will know, they look at the search results, and those search results only have one photo.
Yeah.
And if they have one photo and that's a bad photo, they're going to skip the ad.
We've seen it, and I'm sure you've seen it in your time. Unfortunately, the hero is not the couch, it's not the toilet, and that's extreme, but it does happen. And unfortunately, even to this day, we find those listings, and you say, I'm not going to gain an understanding of this house, and in fact, I just ignore or turn it off, that I'm not interested. I'll move on to another property that meets my criteria and I get a sense of from that first photo.
Yep, agree. And make sure you've got the price, the street address, so that the mapping can pick up the actual location of the property, and a good description. Because once someone engages with that listing, they like the look of the photos, they want to read a bit more about that property. So it doesn't have to be war and peace, but it just needs to be enough to engage the audience around it.
On that subject, what's your views on video? Where do you think that fits in? Or is it time for video in real estate?
Personally, I would not be using video. I think the challenge with video is twofold. This is as much from a real estate agency perspective as from a consumer perspective. The first is that a lot of people don't have patience to actually watch a video from end to end, even 2 minutes, 3 minutes, because maybe if the photos have shown off the property well, then and they tend to be higher quality, the photos, than the video that you see, and someone may just want to see a bit more about the bedroom, for example. It takes maybe a minute and a half.
You can't skip to or find it in there.
Exactly. Yeah. And you don't know until you've seen the video whether there's actually information about the
We're
bedroom.
time poor and we need to be able to get through, and it's a browsing experience. You want to be stimulated, and photos give you the ability with 20 or 30 photos to see what the areas of the property that interest you and either tick it in or tick it out.
Agree. And the second challenge is that when you show video online, as many people who maybe used YouTube, etc., have seen, is sometimes the quality isn't great. It may stop and start, etc. And that may not be the fault of the agent or the people hosting the video, but it could be the telco, or especially if they're looking at on Wi-Fi while wandering around, or 3G. So you don't want to give anyone a negative experience with your listing. So I would stay away from video.
Get the basics right, get the photo, get the address, get a price indication, and present it well. Think about the way that first photo is critical. Absolutely.
Agree. Now, the fourth tip is you want to stand out from the crowd. If you think about it, just take Auckland, for example, houses in a certain price range, you probably have a lot of listings.
I mean, in Auckland, there's probably 18,000 houses on the market at the moment. And imagine trying to stand out in that. Yes, in a price range, there may only be 300, but still, how do you stand out in 300?
Agree. Now, while people on real estate sites search quite diligently through all the listings, you still want to make sure that you're one of the first displayed, not on page 20.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's simple through premium listings. I know that realestate.co.nz has that sort of offer. And if I was a consumer, I'm not spending a massive amount of money on it.
No, comparatively, compared to the traditional media, we have a premium which takes it out of the listing results and actually puts it at the top of the page. So we're not interrupting the sequence. So our listings are still in sequential order, the latest at the top and the oldest at the bottom. But to be at the heading of each page gives you a premium position, which certainly attracts, we find, about 10 times more traffic. So it's valid and cost effective.
Yeah, I'd be definitely doing that.
Yeah.
And the final thing I'd be doing is, like all things, I'd be checking up on my agent. And the way I'd be doing that is actually talking to them on not a daily basis, but certainly on at least a once or twice a week basis. And just making sure how many people have inquired about the listings, how many have looked at it online, how many emails have you got, can I see copies of those emails, have you responded to them, etc. I mean, and you've really got to follow up, because as much as you would like to believe that everything's working perfectly, this is your biggest asset, and getting the best price for your biggest asset is the most critical thing. And working hand in hand with the agent to do that is probably the most important thing I can do.
And in today's market, I mean, you wouldn't be as acquainted as we are looking at the market every day, but we're in a situation where there's high inventory, a steady flow of new listings. Sales are not rampant at the moment. They're kind of quiet. Yeah, we expect spring to pick up a bit. So all your points, I think, are valid, because when you've got a lot of property competing for attention, and that's what it is, it's competing for attention, you've got to find ways to stand out. And a good photo, well presented, and an active and knowledgeable agent who understands the online market, promoting the property, all sound ideas. Got to agree with you on those.
Excellent.
Simon, thanks for that.
No,
fantastic insight. Appreciate it.
No problems. Thanks.